And there are some drugs, because it is pretty much based on the drug profile. Some drugs are more prone to having medication errors. Some drugs may not have any medication errors. It really depends on the drug profile. I'll go into details in this webinar, I mean in this module, so that you'll understand what I'm talking about when it's having one drug having more and one drug having less. So one of the things that I explained with all this differences, with the main difference between an adverse event and the medication error, is the preventability of the event. Medication error is a preventable event, whereas adverse event may not be. It's not like all are caused intentionally, may not be a preventable event. It might be linked to the mechanism of action of the drug. Now, that being said, from an interview perspective, what I want you guys to get out of this module is three things. One, classification of medication errors, which is from a PV standpoint. From a drug safety standpoint, what are the medication errors? Second thing is, you want to know how do you report them? How do you when do you have to report, and how do you report them? There are different types of medication errors, so each type may be reported in different formats. And when do you report them? How do you report them? And most important, and from a learning perspective, and also from your day-to-day operations, you need to apply the definitions. You don't need to by heart, or you don't need to memorize the definitions. No one is going to memorize, ask you what is the what is the definition of off-label misuse, abuse. That's not how it works in the interview. But they want you to apply it, and they'll give you some scenarios in the interview process that you may have to do it. Now let me kind of get you up to the speed with how this is being asked in the interview, in the interviews. Most of you know, there is a pharmaceutical company called Amgen. Amgen is a very reputed pharmaceutical company. So they have a separate department within drug safety and pharmacovigilance, probably. There are other pharmaceutical companies as well, like Amgen. They have, again, like how CDER has its own division for preventing medication errors. Some pharmacovigilance departments will have a sub-unit of having preventable for unit for preventing medication errors. So when you're applying for those jobs in those divisions, they may have the title the same as safety specialist, safety associate, safety scientist. But if you see the job description, the whole job description will be coming out of this module. The reason why I believe this module really came into existence back in 2018 or 19 is because we had multiple interviews during that time period on just this one module itself. And that is the reason why we had to teach this module, and it has always been there as one of the core modules. So that's pretty much how most of these core modules are there, other than being the basics of pharmacovigilance. So that being said, we'll go into the live examples, how they're going to test you based on what we are going to be learning today at the end. But these are the three things that you need to keep in mind: classification, reporting, and common definitions, and how you basically apply them on a practical basis. Now, we kind of went into the definition a little bit, into like what is medication error. One of the things that I would like you to remember is this EMA definition, which is unintentional. The reason why this is in bold, because we use this practically in a lot of scenarios. I'll kind of tie this with the last slide so you'll understand this. So again, medication error is a preventable event that can lead to inappropriate medical use, which can cause harm to the consumer or patient. So rather than using this FDA guidance on medication error or definition of medication error, I would like you to replace this preventable event, since you already mentioned error is a preventable event at this point. I would like you to replace this preventable event with the phrase unintentional failure. So if the patient has unintentionally taken the drug, or the active moiety that has led to inappropriate medication use or patient harm, then it becomes a medication error. So we'll kind of go into unintentional use of this in the common definitions and practical application of it. Now, there are different classifications for medication